Monday, November 18th, 2024, Board of Sewer and Water Commission. We have a full agenda here, 3 commissioner present here. Our meeting is recorded for public. We have an appointment with the Union Square Village and Pinnacle Point. We'll take that in order first. We'll schedule the full meeting around it. So, Mr. Lou Petrozzi, please come ahead and introduce yourself, please.
Good evening, Lou Petrozzi for Wall Street Development Corp. Thank you for accommodating my
Lou,
appointment
could you
schedule.
move the thing a little bit?
So,
Thanks.
So, as you probably know, I've been here several times to discuss a water main replacement project on Brook Lane. The work has now been completed 100%. We had at least 2 previous conversations about proceeding with this water main replacement in exchange for a waiver of the fees for our connection to the homes to be built. And that's why I'm here tonight, because I fully expect the board to honor its arrangement.
I got a question for Mr. Nunnery. Is the town satisfied now?
There was an email went out today that the service lines were completed on this project.
So, is there any issues left?
Scott can confirm, I believe Carl said all the water was completed.
Yeah, I think there's some minor issues left as far as utilities. I believe he has completed everything that we asked.
So
As far as the services
it's all good?
I believe it is. Well, there's some minor things.
The water main, the water services, the water's been tested, it's passed. We've,
And it's the old line been abandoned
the old line's been abandoned and capped,
and everything is connected to the new?
correct.
All right.
Water line is in full operation at this point. Last time I was here, we were being held hostage, if you remember, by the fact that we didn't want to construct the services to the existing homes because they were quite lengthy services. We were kind of put into a position where we didn't have a choice, which I consider it a little bit of strong-arming technique,
So,
but we did that.
I have a question. How many old connection did you replace? Like three houses?
Three of them, yes.
And how many new houses are coming up in that?
15.
15, okay. And those 15 house plans are approved by the town?
Everything is approved.
Okay, that's, okay. Please.
So in any case, we would have preferred just to connect the services to the new main, but we were forced to replace the entire services because of some so-called rule. But I've checked your sewer and water policy and rules and regulations. There is no such rule. So, we did the work, but we were held hostage by doing it. So, quite honestly, like I said, I've been here 2 or 3 times. I've always been under the impression, I've left with the impression that that we would be, the sewer and water connection fees would be waived if we perform this work. I've put a letter in front of you which, in essence, describes the motion that was made, and primarily a reason why we didn't file an appeal to the permit that was issued at the time. So,
And you made the connection out to Union Street?
correct.
Okay. So I think that was what the consideration we were thinking about.
Well,
rather
we had a discussion, and
Yeah.
we did what we were asked to do, and the cost to us was probably in excess of $100,000. I think it's only fair that we be given some consideration on the waiver of the fees.
So would have been 15 new connections.
Right, sewer and water, yes. Well, theoretically, there was one that was already there, the house we tore down, and there was another one that we tore down 3 years ago, so there are 13 new connections, net new connections. The other two were previously existing homes. So, so basically, 13 new connections, 2 existing previously existing connections.
And how much of extra pipeline was put for this project? Other than your project, like outside your project?
Well, Brook Lane, I think the length of pipe was around 250 feet,
Okay,
new hydrant. And then from Brook Lane to the cul-de-sac, probably about 600 feet, 620 feet.
and the sewer line also is new?
The sewer line,
on
the
the
sewer
Brook Lane?
line is new from the existing sewer manhole
Okay,
into the site.
so only for water you have to put a new line to Union Street, isn't it?
Excuse me?
Only for the water, you put a new line to the Union Street? Is that
Yes.
correct? Okay,
Yes. I mean, we didn't need to. I mean, the 6-inch line in Brook Lane was adequate for our project.
I do recall us making some discussion of a reduction in the entrance fees as a result of replacing that 6-inch line with an 8-inch, as well as connecting out to Union Street. I count 13 new connections. as you said
13
there.
new connections, 2 previously existing connections.
Yeah. And so how much did you pay for the connections?
We haven't paid any connections yet,
Oh.
but we will be.
connected there, Scott.
When we do,
Yeah,
to get a building, the only reason we haven't been issued any permits for buildings is I'm having difficulty getting an agreement on the name of the street, if you can believe it.
well, call it Fasanello Street,
Yeah.
Fasanello Drive, you're all set.
Yeah.
I already have one.
Oh, all right.
But anyways, that issue is coming up, so I'd like to get it resolved tonight if we can.
Would the board be interested in waiving half of the water fees for 13 connections? It is something we did speak of.
of the 13,
Yeah, 13, I think
how much is coming?
that
Plus-
would
plus the existing two?
45,500. So for half of that would be 22,750, 22,750.
And that's just the water, isn't it?
Just water.
Yeah,
There was
because
no,
there's no sewer.
no sewer.
You have any inputs?
Yeah.
Okay.
Make
Want
that
to
a motion
Yeah,
to waive 22,750 of sewer, of water connection fees.
Excuse me a minute. What about the 2 previous ones that were already connected?
We wouldn't charge you for connections
could-
that
if you
were
could
already
add
there.
that.
That's why I'm saying 13
Right, but if you could just make it specific in your motion, if that's the case, so
for
that,
the 13 new connections, 15 connections minus the 2 that existed.
okay. Second or something?
Did you vote?
No.
No, motion, I already motioned.
No, I have no problem.
So
Is
you want
that
a
a
second?
yes?
Huh?
Are you seconding?
I didn't hear the motion. I don't think you made a motion. You said you wanted to make a motion.
No, I'm making the motion that we waive waive 22,750, which is the equivalent of half of the entrance fees for the net 13 new connections.
so,
Okay.
since 13's an odd number, do you want to make it like a 7, for 7
Do you want me
units?
to go down to 12?
I'll second.
No, make it
No.
7 units. Make it 7 units, so it's a round.
I second it.
Okay, so we'll vote for it.
Hold on, that's,
Yeah, Anything?
Hold on,
You're doing some calculation.
yeah. I'll stick with my other, it's 24 versus the 20, what did I say?
22,750.
Yeah. Right.
Sticking with 22,750.
Yes, that was the motion. Patrick, did you second it?
So for
Yes.
22,750 for 13 net. new-
Half of the net 13
For water.
new connections
For water.
for water.
So there's a motion, and there's a second to the motion, and we vote for it. You want to go for it? Vote?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. 3-0.
Okay.
And now, can I just get clarification on the two existing homes that those,
Mr. Petrosi, you have a great Thanksgiving, and we'll catch you later.
well, I'm here, I have another
Here's another
project.
one. Let's move on. What?
But the
yes.
two existing homes, no fee for those, right? The two homes that were existing that were torn down.
Yes, they,
Those are exempt from additional fee.
right, because
Correct?
if you, there was already a connection there,
Right.
so we don't make you pay for another connection.
My heart is coming out of my chest.
All right.
I just want it in the record. I just want it in the record.
Less than 1 inch, that's correct.
1 inch or less.
Yeah,
Oh, I just want it in the record that the two existing homes,
yes.
no fees.
All right.
Okay.
Let's go to,
Let's just do quickly. Thank you very much for the
let's go to
accommodation.
Pinnacle
Thank you.
Point. So,
You have Pinnacle Point.
So, gentlemen, ladies, as you may know, we've proposed a 16-unit, well, we have two projects pending, but I'm discussing tonight the 16-unit development off of Pinnacle Drive along Bird Pond. It's 16 single-family detached homes in a condo homeowners association, similar to
is this going to be a
Brooklyn.
40B or not?
this project here is a conventional 40A development.
Okay.
We're not going to discuss the 40B yet, but we will maybe get there. So essentially, this is each home will be serviced individually with sewer and water. Highlighting
Scott,
it.
do you have that? Do we have
Soft copy.
we have plans? I can't see it.
Okay, well, I'll bring it up.
No, that's okay, we might
That's fine,
have one
yeah.
here.
No, I don't think so.
No, we don't.
Because, so, essentially, when Pinnacle Drive was built, they left an 8-inch stub into the property. We're gonna connect into that 8-inch stub, run parallel to the roadway, and provide water service to each of the homes individually. The sewer, there's an existing sewer easement here off of the Riverwalk sewer. And that sewer, highlighted in orange, will run gravity out to Riverwalk. It's fairly simple, straight line kind of development. Not sure what the commission would comment on, other than its standard, payment of the fees.
How long is the longest stretch there for the water line?
This stretch here is roughly 750 or 800 feet right in here, 750, I would say.
And does the planning board have some, it's not an issue with us, but I'm just curious.
Well, it only goes to the planning board for site plan review. Right, currently, it's in front of the zoning board. The process is apply for a special permit to allow for multiple buildings on a single lot. Once the if the special permit for that is granted, then we have conservation to deal with and the planning board to address any site development comments. We've already had the plan reviewed by the fire department for returning analysis. The there's been no comment or question regarding the length of the roadway.
This is next to the bird pond, isn't it?
This is Bird Pond,
Okay.
which Wall Street has an agreement to purchase the pond, so we will be buying the pond at some point.
Any possibility of looping somewhere?
I don't know, it'll cost you money. There's a possibility of looping the water from here back to there. That's about the only place you can loop it.
So it's not much of a loop.
I'm not quite sure where, there really isn't any place else to loop this. So,
There's a bird pond dam rehabilitation project going on, some talk.
yeah, they have another comment period tomorrow, I think,
Yes.
tomorrow night. There is some discussion about removing the spillway of the dam so that the pond will drain back down to its historical bank of the Neponset River,
Okay,
which is roughly about 16 feet lower than what this elevation is.
okay. So your project still needs to go through that approval?
I have to go,
Your project still need approval from that project also?
right, well, not for that project. I'm independent of what happens to the pond.
Okay,
My project is a standalone with the zoning board and the other town municipal boards.
okay, got it.
Scott, did we get any comments from the engineer? I mean, other than the typical ones where, somebody forgot to write a number down or something?
The comment was that the utilities weren't shown on the plans, so comments were not able to be provided. I think it was October 31st.
That was the 40B, I think, the 40B
Yeah.
project, which we're not talking about today. There's another application that's under 40B, which is a single building, 40 units, which we're holding off on right now at this time.
So, because I seem to recall there was one that the bedrooms were at one level that
Well-
was sort of done. Was that the project you're talking
This
about?
this is that project.
Oh, that one.
So there's a 25-foot elevation change between Pinnacle Drive and down here.
No, I guess the thing I was at, you said that's a possibility or something about a 40B. Would that 40B take the place of these and you're
Well-
working on two?
The 40B project is one single building, so it'll only take half of the site, probably up to here.
Yeah.
And the rest of it would be used for, drainage or other things, parking.
I'm just wondering what, if we said, yes, that's okay, but then you go with the 40B, I'm.
Well, I've made a
Are we getting the cart before the horse? If you
No,
haven't
no,
decided what you want?
I filed with the 40B first. The neighbors came to me and asked me if I would consider doing a conventional special
Yeah.
permit project. And I made a commitment to them that I would file this application and proceed with this process. And if they approve it, then I would pursue this project. And if they didn't,
And you go the
then I'd
40B
go
route.
back to the 40B. I'm pretty confident that the 40B project will get approved
Yeah.
by the state. So I'm just trying to fulfill a promise to the neighborhood. They favor the single-family home concept as opposed to the multi and the single apartment style kind of, sort of like the Pendleton Place type building, one big building with 40 units in it.
I
So,
guess my thought was that without having the utility plans and whatever, I mean, based on how you're describing it, it doesn't seem like there'd be any objection, but before the board, or at least I would say, yes, this is okay, I think we'd want to see, the
So-
actual utility plans.
yeah, well, this plan was filed today
Okay,
with the utility. So we had the
Yeah.
comment from town engineer that the previous plans were not complete with the
Right.
utilities. So now we've just recently filed these plans with a revised drainage and stormwater report that I assume that the town engineer will review now and have a
Yes.
subsequent comment
and I
review.
would expect that the planning board would then send us a note
Eventually.
asking for our comments.
Eventually, yeah, eventually, once, if we get to that point. But the
Yeah.
planning board is the last step, because the hurdle here, first is the zoning board, second hurdle is the Conservation Commission. Then well, if we resolve all of those other issues, then we can go and proceed with the planning board.
So one question, Lou, is there any type of agreement with Riverwalk? The sewer's being connected?
No, not that I know of. My presumption is that it's a public sewer.
That's condominiums, right, it's private?
I don't know. We don't know what agreements you made. Usually we dedicate the sewer line belongs to the town, right? In other words, if something were to go wrong there, you'd go in there and fix it. They may pay for it, but you'd go in there and fix it, right? But if failing that, if that weren't the way we would go, then we just have a pumping thing and just pump it up to Pinnacle Drive. It's really not a,
It's just something to look into, because
Yeah.
if that's private property, we're not gonna be digging up sewer.
yeah. Well, the funny thing is, well, again, I'm not gonna get into any legal, but the manhole is already on the property that we're buying. So, question is, okay, what about from the sewer manhole down, is what you're saying, through Riverwalk, is that,
Right, if something happens on Riverwalk and they contribute to this development, who's
Yeah.
gonna take care of it?
yeah, good point. I'll check into that for sure.
Anything?
Superintendent Gustafson, do you have any other comments that could help us here?
Not at this time?
Okay, Mr. Nunnery,
Yes.
do you have any comments?
No, just that the sewer's private should be, we should find out.
Yeah, who would know that? I mean, would you folks have a record of an agreement? Would you?
It's
would you-
definitely something to look into, because
We
if
don't-
something happens there,
We don't service sewer on private property.
Well, I understand, but this project goes back, Riverwalk goes back 25 years, 20 years at least. So I wasn't around back then, so I don't know what kind of arrangements you made. Like, who told them to, like, there had to be a reason for them to extend the sewer line to our property, to this property. So something, there must be some discussion. Maybe you have some minutes of the meetings or things like that going back that way. I hate to put burden on the staff, but that would really be the only way to find that information out.
I was thinking at this point, you've explained what you're doing, and, we'd wait to see the actual plans and engineers' comments. I don't know that there's anything else.
Yeah, no, I'm happy to come back following our research with the Riverwalk Homeowners Association, and then whatever town engineers' comments are gonna be, which is really not, it's not a rocket, I mean, it's not a difficult
Scott, we
project to
don't have a
understand.
plan for this either, do we?
We don't, yeah.
There's no,
this, no,
They
there's
just
no
got,
plan here.
they just filed it
I
yesterday.
just filed it today,
Oh, okay.
so you wouldn't have
They
it.
didn't give you one.
I would think unless we have any questions, and I just asked, I know, Pat, you're always interested in looping, he's answered that question. I would think we just wait for the actually, plan that we can, and with the engineer's comments. And then we'll get a request, most likely by the planning board, asking for our comments.
Yeah, you will.
Make them that we've, at that point, we reviewed them and whatever. Either we have no comments, or we agree with the engineers, or whatever. But I don't think we can do anything at this
No,
point,
no,
other than
again,
thanks for coming in and.
it just happened to be
giving us
on
a
the
chance.
agenda, and I'm here, and I'm happy to talk with you guys, because I love you guys.
Thank you.
Come on,
Okay.
you smile a little bit, will you, for God's sakes?
No, we are closing up now, thank you.
That's the best he does for
I
smiling.
guess so. Thank you very much. Have a nice
Okay.
Thanksgiving.
Yes, you too.
Maybe I'll be back for Christmas, so I'm not gonna say Merry Christmas.
All right.
Scott, do you keep records that far back, or what?
We'll find out.
Because usually there's either something on record, at the registry. I didn't see it. Has to be like an easement of some sort.
moving on, we'll wait for Mr. John Hasnagar to join us, and then we'll...
Thanks a lot.
And there he is.
Bye-bye.
Let's do the minutes. Hello, John. Just want you to know Pradeep did a fine job in your absence.
Wonderful, very competent,
Okay.
very qualified.
got help from both of the commissioners.
Okay, other than Petrosi, are we at abatements now, or?
No.
No, we
minutes.
start from the
The
beginning.
minutes, okay, we
Start
didn't do
from
the
the
minutes either, all right. So why don't we view them,
Yeah. I have a couple,
October 28th?
yes.
Bill?
Well, the thing that needs correction is on page 3, the appointment of 7:15. It's Brook Lane, not Brooks. A minor thing. Other than that, this one's more of like a comment. In the superintendent's status report, where we refer to, there was a leak, it was a CC, it's an SL, it's a PT, a PRV, et cetera. I'm thinking these minutes, well, we might know what that meant. Somebody else might not know and either, explain, we either say CC and then in parentheses what that means, or, SL for service leak or whatever, or spell them out. I'm just thinking future, somebody reading them going, SL, Steve Lewis. What was Steve Lewis,
CC, yeah, what's CC?
Yeah, so that would be my own, I'm not claiming that there's, that it's not correct or wasn't there, but I'm thinking for future that we spell out.
Maybe you need.
Well, now you're gonna find out, Terry. So other than that, that was the only official one was the Brooks Lane being Brook Lane.
Well, thank you, that's a good
So I'll make a
comment.
motion unless there were any other changes, that we approve the minutes of Monday, October 28th, with that one change and the one suggestion.
Okay, is there a second?
I second it.
Okay, we have 2 seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, abstained, 4-0-0. Thank you. All right, now I guess we could get to the status report.
So since the last meeting, there's been no warrants. The online storage rails have trouble at getting in service, the lines in, chlorinated. We did sampling last Thursday and Friday, the samples came back, total call from positive, E. coli negative. Flush that out, rechlorinate, and go through the whole procedure, resampling again. At Washington 2, Washington 4, and at this plant, we've cut and teased the raw water lines, so it's gonna be for the paving project coming up. Like we did in North Walpole with line 1 and 5, we didn't need after that. High Oak Sewer Pump Station rehab, contractor came out, base pump came out, take some measurements with control panels, so that's rolling forward. We had Smockers Hydraulic come out last week, check all the PRVs, service them, we have one that needs repair kit, one still remains to be done, and it's critical they function correctly because they delineate the zones to keep water in the zone it's supposed to be in, but not create a dead end where you have stagnant or water quality issues, but still have water flowing through.
Where is this pressure issue?
It's a pressure regulating valve.
Where was this put?
We're in town.
Oh, they're all over town.
Okay.
They're at the edges of the pressure zones, but 2 pressure zones meet,
Mhm.
the pressure regulating valve that separates the 2 of them without having a closed valve or disconnected pipe.
Okay.
So allow some water to go through, but not everything,
Mhm.
so you don't have a dead end on either side.
Okay.
We just recently installed one around the corner on South Street, and
Okay.
replaced that water main.
Uh-huh.
There was a check valve in the line that kept it basically at dead end. When the water main was replaced, the check valve wasn't in place, and we had water being lost from South Walpole pressure zone
Okay.
into Central, so it delineates them.
And there was an issue with the main street, like there was a complaint from the main street that the water pressure is low.
Yeah, it depends on the exact time. That could have been part of us flushing the new water main installations for gas line, water main replacement.
Is it a constant issue or is it like random, like?
No, and I believe that, I know the resident you're talking about.
Okay.
We went there, we changed out the meter. There was no issue we saw with the meter.
Mhm.
But the timeline, exactly when the complaint was versus when we did something,
Mhm.
it I'm not sure if the person who contacted you was after that or before. So are you aware they're still having a problem?
Yeah, because they contacted me the same time I contacted you too.
Okay.
Yeah, and there are constructions going on the main street, isn't it? Almost.
Yeah.
So does that impact the water pressure?
It depends on what they're doing at the time, it shouldn't be permanent. It could be a temporary disruption as they're trying to tie in or do some type of work.
Okay.
But it shouldn't be where it affects it all the time.
Mhm.
And if there's an ongoing problem then, we can go and see what the pressure is at the meter
Mhm.
and see what side it's on. Because if we're delivering the appropriate amount of pressure
Mhm.
and there's a problem at the meter on the other side, it's something within the residence.
Okay,
That they might investigate with a closed valve or something going on with their plumbing.
okay.
We can follow up with that.
Sounds good.
So MTUs, that's pretty much the same as before. The old MTUs have the same issues. We have 20 more installs on the new meters, still running at 100%. It's still running great, no issues with that. And we're still doing our routine tests, campaigns.
Do we have any way of knowing whether any of the users who, I guess we have almost 400, are using the, that app, that smartphone app? I was just
Yeah.
curious if we,
There are 39.
okay, so maybe 10% roughly have made use of it?
Well, 39 is signed up for it.
Oh.
How many of those use it, I don't know.
Oh, so only, okay.
Yeah, I don't know how many-
No, I was just curious
The
as
company will
to,
know. The company which is giving the app will know the user,
It's
active user.
Ion
yeah.
Water.
Well, obviously, if only 39 have signed up for it, we're only at 10% and the usage would be some fraction of that. But just curious.
Do you use it, Bill?
I have used
Yeah.
it a couple times, and my first time using it, I noticed, what are we doing on Saturday and Wednesday? It was like, and they go, "Ah, laundry, those are the 2 laundry days.
Oh,
I said, other things work, and then it was another time we were away for a weekend or whatever, and we did not use any water. So,
Explains your life, right?
yes, it does.
I used it to figure out that school vacation days when my son is not taking shower.
Okay.
Scott, I think the 7 o'clock meeting's ready.
When you say haze pump, what does that mean? What's a haze
They're
pump?
representative going up in this region, so they're coming out to look at control panels, take measurements for replacement.
Oh, that's the name of a company,
It is.
haze pump, okay, good.
Yeah,
Didn't know if that was, yeah,
Right.
okay. Anything else?
Sometime we have a 7 o'clock Teams meeting with the standard.
With,
At a 7 o'clock, what?
Yeah, this is about the MWRA connection,
okay.
The what connection?
MWRA.
Oh.
Oh, is this the abatement?
No, this is MWRA.
Hi, Leah, can you hear us?
Hi, everyone.
Hello,
I can't
There you are.
hear me.
we can hear you, we can see you. Can you hear us?
Nice. Perfectly.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
Greetings.
Leah.
So, did we have I guess we had asked Rick about the status of any testing that was going on along Washington Street around Jarvis Farm. Are you familiar with any of that?
They wouldn't be involved with the Jarvis Farm
No?
thing, but, I mean, filing with the Water Resource Commission, I think you were waiting for us to say, yes, my lot or some other, you had to design a pump station before you could submit to the Water Resource Commission, if I remember correctly. So where are we, I guess, on that? Because that seemed like one of the things that we'd basically come to a halt last time we spoke.
It is at a halt. So we submitted to our ENF, to MIPA, and when we did that, that started a 60-day clock, and we missed our 60-day clock. So we are essentially on hold until we restart that clock again. When we restart that clock, we are going to need to make a MIPA submission within 60 days. So Rick had reached out to me and asked if we should get that process started again. And my thought was we should make sure we know what we want to do for our project, right? Like, I'm not sure we have framed up exactly what we want for our project there. The last time I was with you all, there was a lot of talk of, there was some discussion about, that we thought the Norwood price was too high. We didn't want to spend a lot of money for our pump station. There were some terms in there that needed to be worked through, we're basically on pause at the moment until we kind of figure out what we need to do. So I sent Rick this morning copies of 2 different NEPA filings. One was a NEPA filing for what I believe it was Wright Pierce did for Burlington and Lexington to connect to the MWRA. And Burlington and Lexington wanted to get rid of their wells and their treatment plant, and they wanted to supplement with MWRA. So that was a 380-page filing to NEPA, and as part of doing that, they need to demonstrate. I don't know if, did you all have a chance to look at this, or?
I haven't seen those.
And I can share if you want, if that would be helpful, but as part of the NEPA filing, there is a section that's called the needs analysis, which is about water demands and whether Walpole needs the water. And as part of this permitting, which also includes Water Resources Commission, which is our interbasin transfer, and we've talked about this a couple of times, there's all sorts of conflicting language, right? Some of them are saying you need to abandon your sources, others are saying, you need to demonstrate need for water supply, and I'm frankly having a difficult time in Walpole coming up with our story, right? We need a story that permits well, and we also need a project to permit. So that's kind of where I am. I'm not sure I know what our project is. Are we looking for an emergency situation, or are we looking for a pump station that you can use whenever you want it? And where is it? I'll stop talking now.
Wow. Okay, well, here, I'll give you, I'll let Patrick in a second. I'll just give you a status of, essentially, for 5 years, at least, maybe 6, we've perceived that Walpole will need another water source as a result of them ratcheting down our allotment of withdrawal permits, as a result of PFAS being threatening water resources in the town, and as a result of severe population increase. Growth of the town in terms of businesses and population. And as example, just this evening, we had someone in here that has about 100 units on the books trying to be going forward with. The last meeting we're discussing 2 hotels that are coming in, and there's a 300-unit project and a 200-unit project downtown, and there's one, they're all over the place. So we have a growth situation with a static, finite supply that's threatened because we have mature wells who are at various stages of life cycle. So we have been wanting to hook up to the MWRA. They gave us a golden opportunity by waiving the entry fee at a short time here and perceiving the needs long-term for Walpole. I'm talking 50 years out or more. There's no question we need other water sources. So we wanted to move forward on this scenario of free entry opportunity with the MWRA, and found that, or it was advised to us that our only solution really was to go through Norwood. That's how we got into the situation of the Norwood alternative. And the Norwood alternative has evolved. It started off, they were talking about, the total project was 15 to 20 million. Now it's been whittled down to in my eyes, $5 million plus some interest, and a pump station for $2.5 million. And some of the other peripheries, I don't think are so expensive as we thought, but that's still, not a piece of cake compared to what some other towns have paid. But the members here have come up with other ideas, as well as the staff. The staff that came up with the idea that we might find a new well close in here near Washington Street between Jarvis Farm and Washington Street itself. And I was told that we're doing exploration, maybe Scott can tell us, for looking for potential well sites. So we could factor the cost of a new well here close to the Delaney plant into that as an alternative. But I think Bill and Pat and Pradeep and myself all think that the most viable at the time that we have our hands around it all is this hookup at Mallard Street and going through Norwood. It's not necessarily the most economical one, but we don't have an avenue from your point of view. No one's really explored the MWRA far as Patrick and Pradeep have come up with cross-country ideas about piping, which maybe people might think are beyond the scope of our commission or of our town, but might in the long run be more economical, and we wouldn't be paying some extra fees for another town for wheeling if we could engineer that. But given the status of those, we don't have those haven't been backfilled for us, either from your end or from the town's end. So we're just operating on what we know, what we've been told. And I think to date, the Mallard Street, and I think Bill pushes for this, he wants us to say Mallard, and I think we have said that we want to go forward with Mallard, keeping in mind that if we can get traction on these other alternatives and one pops up that's better, we can switch horses. There's nothing big, just like the MWRA could turn us down at the end, we can turn them down at the end. So there's nothing wrong with pursuing the permitting, and I'm disappointed to hear that you missed the 60-day deadline or whatever, but I think we could take a vote tonight, but I'd like the commissioners to all weigh in on this. I mean, there is, Patrick came up with an excellent idea about exploring, and I don't know if we have you do that or someone else, but exploring the sewer line and.
Yeah. One of the things I wanted to ask you, does your company have a map of all the rights of way in this area that MWRA has?
Well, MWRA stops up in Dedham and Westwood.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about rights of way.
I guess I'm not super clear on where I guess I don't understand what you're asking.
All right.
We have Google and we have Walpole mapping.
But your company doesn't have, MWRA rights of way and where they are.
Yes, we have we know where MWRA is, yes.
Is,
Is
but.
that what you're asking?
No, that's not what I'm asking. I'm asking, for instance, one of the things that I didn't hear your company or you talk about is we have the big, interceptor sewer that runs from Walpole to that island. Why couldn't that be used as a right-of-way for our water? It's already there.
We did look at the length to connect to MWRA. Even as the crow flies, it's a lot more money than what we're talking about at the Mylon Street. So.
Well, you're saying a lot more money. How much more money? And that's what we need to know. And also, the reason I'm asking you this is that there may be other rights of way that we don't even know about that we could be of some use to us. So I did go ahead and ask the MWRA to please send me a map of all their rights of way, and they actually misinterpreted that to mean their entire system, which they sort of freaked out. But when I explained to them, I just really wanted this particular area to tell, what do they own, what do they rent, what do they have legal right to be using, and put it on a map and give it to me. And that's supposedly coming to me soon. That's something we should have had in the beginning of this, so we could have seen exactly what was available to us. Now, there may be nothing, or there may be something that we can work with. I know that Commissioner Pradeep had about, coming down from Top Gun down the side of 95. I don't know if that's a viable route, but we'll see what the map says, and I'll ask him about those kinds of things once I get my map. But I don't think you've, and especially what's worrisome, you don't know that we don't want an emergency connection? We never really talked about emergency connections on this project. This is a project to add to our water use. And how did you get the emergency connection part? That surprises me you'd even talk about that.
Well, that has come up already. They came up with the sense of which direction you want to go in. Do you want to tie in and use 1 million gallons a day from MWRA? Do you want to have an alternate supply from a well, or a new well, or an existing well, like my before? Or do you want to have an emergency connection only?
This is an augment our water supply. The whole charge we had was one of the options was to connect to the MWRA. We had some other options. We had satellite wells. We could develop maybe a new aquifer, perhaps. But this was, our charge was to find more water, not to get an emergency connection. We already have those.
That has actually been pretty clear to me. And what I'm sharing with you all is that the permitting requirements for you to get this interconnection through Water Resources Commission, through MWRA, and through MEPA is that you need to demonstrate need. They are not just going to give it to you because you want it. You
Well,
have to demonstrate need.
Are you talking about
which
need
has-
now or need projected?
It is, well, that's a good question, and I think it's not clear. It is not clear, demonstrate now need or future need. But I will also share with you that we have a hard story here to put to them when you all are investing in new sources. It specifically, the permitting specifically says that you need to abandon your sources. Like, no, there's a precedent that communities are getting these approvals without abandoning their sources, but certainly not investing in new sources and new and other things, right? So it is creating a more difficult project to permit.
Well-
So, and this is what Rick and I spoke about this morning, is we really need to craft this project. We need to better understand what Walpole wants to construct, and how you all want to use it, and we need to do that. Like, if we're permitting a project, we need a project to permit. There needs, like I said to Rick this morning, we need stamped plans. Like, we need engineered designed plans, which is like, we're probably not gonna get it done from 60 days from where, you know what I mean? Like, there's a timeline here, so.
I just want to stop. I have a question. When did we start this process with your team?
I think we submitted to the environmental justice back in
No.
February.
When did the town of Walpole hired your team to look into the MWRA connection? I think 1 year back.
A year
I can
ago?
look that up for you.
1 year back.
Certainly,
This,
we've been at this a
yeah,
while.
and this discussion was already done at that time, and the board has already passed the motion saying that the need for the MWRA connection. And if we are discussing the same topic again and again, I think we have lost the whole track. We have lost the whole purpose of this, last 1 year, if you're repeating the same ask again and again.
I just have a question.
Yeah.
You're saying that we need to abandon existing sources. And their operation, the MWRA's operation policy number 10, which is for new connections, specifically says you cannot abandon existing sources. And that's not our intent. And I'm surprised that communities are even considering. I can understand if you say it's so polluted that you can abandon it because it's gonna be cheaper than building a new treatment plant or something. But that's not the case, at least in our situation. So that's what's puzzling me when you're saying that, we'd be talking about abandoning sources. And I can understand why the state's saying, you gotta demonstrate need, but you're not gonna get away with demonstrating needs by saying, oh, the stuff that you have that's good already, you're throwing it away. I mean, that makes no sense from a state standpoint.
We have a stress basin, and we can prove that Minebrook 4, we are not throwing it away, but it's not economic. It's not economical compared to these other alternatives. It's too far out into the swamps. It's too difficult and expensive to do.
Well, I think we would be able to, I agree with you, you could stress the idea that both basins are stressed. And that's why you might wish not to consider adding more stress by adding Minebrook 4.
Yeah.
We do have an estimate, we've had multiple estimates that are less than connecting with the MWRA, but I think stressing the fact that
Yeah.
this adds more stress to it. But just in general, our intent is not to abandon
Yeah, lay
treatment plants and,
And
10 wells
more
or 18
contaminants.
wells.
Yeah, with PFAS, that isn't the solution. That was one of the good, attractive things about the MWRA, that we won't, on that piece of the water, we won't have to worry about PFAS. So, I mean, as far as your charge, Patrick has brought this up several times. It isn't our responsibility as the citizen commissioners to do the engineering and to present the alternatives and analyze the economics. The staff and the consultants are required to do that, and they should be doing along the lines of what we requested. When we request, if Pradeep requests an estimate on the line down Route 95, someone should be doing that for us. If Patrick requests an option of doing a line down the sewer easement up from where the Stoughton MWRA hookup is, in the Stoughton line in Canton, someone should be doing that. If someone is doing perimeter wells in Walpole, they should give us a report, a written status report of what's going on, when it's going on, what the results are, who's doing it. We don't have any of that information from our staff or from you. So I don't like the finger pointing. We're not pointing fingers at anybody, but I think Pradeep is right on target. In a finite fashion, you have all the things you need to proceed on this MWRA thing. We have voted to do that. We accepted the Mylard's site. What we were doing is fine-tuning the economics. Norwood has agreed to $5 million, which is down from their original $7.9 million. We can do the piping. We do 2,000 feet of piping every year. The year that this is ready, we're going to do our 2,000 feet of piping, not somewhere else. We're going to do it on Mylard. So it's not going to cost us a penny for any more piping. It's the same piping we do every year. So, and you have built the exact same plant in Sharon that we need in Walpole for 1 million MGD. So you know exactly what it costs. We have a budget for that of 2.5 million. So there's virtually nothing unknown here, other than somebody doing the homework, I guess, of getting the answers of why the basins are stressed, why we need you know, an alternative source for water, and, you know, answer the MEPA application. I mean, and we can walk and chew gum, and at the same time, again, if the staff decide, or the consultants who are doing that decide to come up and give us that information, say this is a better track, and we can always just, again, just like the MWRA can say no to us, we can say no to that project at some point, and if we have something better is put under our nose. And the longer they drag it out, the longer they might risk something better comes along.
Leah, I just have a question. You can't go further without having, when you call it a project, but something that there would be drawings saying, this is the plant and whatever, which would depend where we are. I mean, we could say Mylod, and you could design one. We could say, I don't know, somehow going down on Route 95, and you could design, if we told you where that would have to be. You need to have a place that you could then design whatever's needed, whether it's a pump station or just a meter pit to, you know, so we could tell how much water we took. You can't go until we can say, right here, and then you would say, all right, if you're going here, this is what you need. It's either pump stations, or it's a meter, or who knows what. I mean,
That's right.
okay.
We need plans.
Well, let me ask you, who did the plan work for Sharon? Who did the plans for
Well,
Sharon?
we did. We designed that pump.
So you already have a set of plans?
So, you know, there's,
And you're right, John,
when
there
they-
is, but does it work with,
That's enough, Bill. That's enough for what this stage of the game. You don't do the final civil engineering until everything is, you know you're going
she's
forward.
telling us that she can't take that next step until she can prepare plans. And if we say, use the plans for the Sharon Norwood plant, then, you know, unless it doesn't make any sense at all, she could say, all right, I have plans, and I'll just change from whatever the name of the street is to Mylod Street, and she could go. But she.
Knowing that they might be modified later, which they would be anyway.
permitting is site-specific. It's not, you know what I mean, like, there's,
So that's the
it
point
doesn't-
I'm saying. You need to know where, and then once we have the where, then you can figure out what the plans are, which could mean,
I need to know the where.
yes.
I need to know the where, and I need to know the how. And we need to be on the same page, and clearly,
Yes.
I guess not.
Yeah,
So,
right. But she can
I
proceed on
did
the
do an
Sharon site 'cause we
alternatives
voted on
routing
it.
analysis, and
She's
did a
putting the
very
hospital
high-level
in the trap.
alternatives routing analysis for you to connect to the MWRA. And I also just explained to you that as the crow flies, if we draw a straight line from where you need it to where you connect, it's $10 million more expensive than the alternative on Mylod Street. So we did do that. We did that.
Well, we didn't see that
So-
information, though.
Yeah.
I mean, how much a foot? What were you using as a calculation?
At $10 million, look, it's a lot more money. You've asked me my opinion, and I have given it to you. I don't think.
No,
that-
we don't want your opinion, we want your figures.
Are good alternatives to what we have. I think we have the best alternative at Mylod Street.
So did you look and say, okay, going down Route 95, just ballpark, you said, all right, I figured it's 2 river crossings and it's, I don't know, 10 miles or whatever it is, and add X number of dollars per foot plus 2 river crossings, here's my number. It comes out whatever. And if
It's
we
like
were coming,
$55 million.
and coming some other, whatever you've looked at, is that available that you could just say, send it to Rick?
I believe it was a handout in the previous meeting.
I'll resend it.
There's a-
I will
there's a handout.
resend it over to you.
Yes, if that, I think, would answer what the costs are at other locations.
Yeah.
And then we can be able to say, all right,
But in the-
now yes, this looks better than my lot, or maybe my lot is the best, I don't know.
Well, well, listen, the consultants and the staff don't get to force us into a box of what we want to make the decision they want us to make. They're working for us. I want her to do this, I don't care whether we do it or not. I want all the applications done, and I want them to keep going on this till we say no.
And they're telling us, John, that to do the application, they have to have a site-specific plan. and-
They do not, that's
No,
bull.
this is-
Well,
All they
she's
know,
the
all
one
they
who
know
said
is
it.
that they have
This
a
is
pump
how-
station.
yeah.
These pump stations are standard. It's like an automobile, whether it's a Buick or a Toyota, it doesn't make any difference. It's same, a pump station. It's the same damn thing, so that's bull. We know it's 1 million gallons a day, and that's just what they built for Sharon, so they know exactly what it
As
is.
I'm understanding, when she submits something, someone's gonna say, well, what street is this on? And if it's not, and that's what you're saying, I have to at least have that, and I'll design whether, the standard pump station.
It's Mylard, Bill, haven't you been here, didn't you hear the
Well, did
discussions
you hear
about
that,
Mylard?
Leah? Mylod is the place, that's where we're going. We're
That's
not
been
going
that
down
way
Route 95,
Yeah, we voted for that, though.
so then we pick the
Why
place.
are we going back and forth once?
That's what Pernika's saying, it's like Groundhog Day.
Yeah,
Keep
it's-
going over the same thing.
Because if we're gonna design a pump station on Mylod Street, I need to give you a contract for engineering design. And as part of the engineering design, it needs to include, it's not survey, because you're right, we've already done that, but it is an update on environmental conditions. And I have explained, I've tried to explain, that there have been code changes probably since the last time we talked. And now we have to put a bathroom in that pump station. So it is not the same pump station that we designed in Sharon. So there are things so I need to give you a design contract for Mylod Street in order to move this forward. And I don't want to do that if that isn't where you all want it to be. So I'm just trying to.
You're trying to force us
make sure
into a
we're
decision, no.
trying to do consensus building here.
Jesus. I guess you're not hearing us, but, listen, what's the code now that requires a bathroom? Is that a building code?
It was a change to the plumbing code as of winter this year, 2024.
So that's for,
I could detest the
that's
changes
business
to
or
the code
residential?
Probably as much as you could. And then you would need to give us direction on if we would move forward with the design without the bathroom. And you all would do the negotiating with the building inspector, or if we're just gonna design a bathroom. That would be the next conversation that we would need to have.
yeah, I'll settle that tomorrow, and we can get a porta potty if they
That would be
found a
helpful.
solution. But, I mean, I don't understand what that has to do with the big picture, though. I mean, what we want to know is, are you going to have a MIPA application in? When are you going to have it in?
We're uncomfortable moving forward with a MIPA application without a design at this point, because,
For Christ's sakes.
that's the next step. If we wanna move forward with this project, I think we need to begin a design of a pump station on the Mylod Street. Then we get a little further along on that, and we start the MIPA permitting process again with a project this time. And as part of that, we need to put together this alternatives analysis and the needs analysis about water demand and how Walpole intends to use this pump station that we're building. And I do need, if we are going to move forward with you all using it as you want and as you need, it's going to be more difficult. The application is going to be more difficult, and and if you think you're going to use it, then I think that's fine, we'll do that. It is going to be challenging with all of the work that you're doing on your existing sources to weave a tale of how you're going to use it. But I think we can get there with the understanding that you all understand that these things are out of our control, and I'm not sure that the permitting wills are going to be on the same page as us.
So really, real simple. What you need is a contract design for the pump station, so that you can move forward with permitting and keep things rolling forward.
Yes, and we drafted that before, And it's drafted, it didn't have a bathroom when we all talked about this the last time. So, and then you all were really upset about the cost of it, and then when we add a bathroom, it's just going to increase the cost of it. So I just want to make sure we're all working under the same understanding.
I think the pushback on the pricing was the 35% contingency fee that took the one, and adding the piping in, that we really don't have to budget any additional piping because we have the allowance of $2 million of piping each year. We do anyway. So that bumped that thing up to, doubled it to $5 million. That was the pushback. It wasn't about, nothing was mentioned about a bathroom. I'm going to find out about the bathroom, but I do not understand, that makes no sense to me, why your research to find the case, to make the case for getting the additional service from the MWRA about our needs for water, you can do that. I mean, in fact, that was already done partly by our staff. So, I mean, you could get that piece completed on your own without any discussions about a bathroom or another contract. I mean, this contract is not a happy contract yet it's in itself, much as adding another contract into the mix at this point. And I don't get it. I think that there's off-the-shelf designs. You people just did one, not only the same size, but in the same location. So I don't think there's any magical information you're missing to put down on a piece of paper. We're not, and I don't think the MWRA requires you to do a finished plan for a pump house before it ever gets debated whether you're even going to go down the road to be able to get allowed to join the MWRA. It makes no sense. That just isn't science. That isn't the way people do things in business. So I don't, I mean, we can question MIPA if you want about that, but I don't know where you're going with all that. I don't think you need another contract yet. I think we have to get the work you've done on paper, and particularly get the work done about the alternative, to understand why that's so expensive. Because again, in your mind, you said your personal opinion, it's too much, but your personal opinion, I don't know what horizon you're working on, because 50 years from now, that's peanuts. We're not thinking here that we're not shopping at dollar store or something to get the cheapest price on something. We're talking the big picture. So the wheeling for 50 years is a lot of money. If we'd have to pay, $300,000 to $400,000 a year wheeling fees a year for 50 years, that's, the $25 million savings. So it doesn't so expensive anymore. Anyway, I think the big thing is we want to get whatever, we've paid you for and whatever you've been doing, we'd like to get get something moving with the MIPA and with the next steps on Mylard. I don't know why someone questioned Mylard, just because the staff was doing some testing around here. That didn't mean this whole thing was to be put on hold or stopped. It's still our really only saleable alternative till something else pops up. But if that isn't in your bailiwick to help us assess the Route 95 or the sewer thing as an outlier possibility, then we'll have to find some other source to do that. But I thought that was in your, I'm not sure what was in your contract as far as that goes. Were you involved in any of this about doing, I don't know who's doing these other well tests. That doesn't relate to your company at all? Okay. So, as far as you guys are concerned, I guess the three things are, we want to proceed with whatever we can without designing a whole finalized pump station, but we want to proceed with the applications and all the questions about our needs with your contract. And as well, if you've done an assessment on the two alternatives we've asked about, we'd like to just see them for informational purposes. Okay. Anybody, anything else? No? Okay, well, thank you very much for coming this evening.
Okay, have a nice night.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye. Okay,
Abatement,
we have,
350.
yeah, abatement now, that, oh, in your packet too is our new, our schedule that we voted on, that Terry put in.
On the abatement, I'd make a motion that we give the standard sewer abatement.
I'll second that.
Okay, any discussion? All right, moving second, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Abstained? You vote?
Aye.
Okay. All right, 400. Thank you. Then we have a couple of planning board items here. We have the Optima project.
Well, yeah, I have some questions on that. First of all, to our superintendent, how far, what's going on with Optima? Is there a contract? How come we haven't seen the contract?
This is a agreement, it was signed by, I believe, Bill and Marty.
Yeah, but we haven't voted on this thing. We haven't even,
This was,
Oh,
it was,
okay.
Patrick, this was the, like an intermunicipal agreement, and we voted on it. They were
yeah,
here, and then they needed both Pradeep and my signatures, so we've agreed that, yes, we haven't seen the utility plans, but that, yes, they would connect with
all
half
right.
of the
Here's the
hotel.
thing. How much money are they paying the town for the connection? That's the first thing.
Right, that was outlined in the agreement. I believe that there was the connection fees, and then the water usage, they would pay the out-of-town for the percentage of rooms that were in Sharon, and the in-town rate for the rooms that were inside. The bank is all in Walpole, so that would be based, that would be at in-town rates. And there was a,
Shops.
was there one other building, wasn't there?
There's a commercial shop.
Yeah,
What about the infrastructure recovery fee?
the entrance fees.
No, the infrastructure recovery fee for out-of-town people. In other words, there's infrastructure that we paid for that now is going to be used by a different municipality.
No, there was nothing in the agreements that we had when the project originally was done, and when the revised one, they based it on that. There was no special fee.
Yeah, no.
No, that's not what you're looking for.
So we've,
Okay, it's been our policy with other companies who want either industrial water, especially industrial water, to charge them an infrastructure recovery fee. That means that to have this water, Walpole has spent a lot of money. We should recover that money now.
we,
So because they're gonna be using that water for fire protection. That's the one I'm talking about. Now, we've charged other companies $1 million for that,
right.
okay?
You
And
were here-
another company, we charged $700,000 for
You were
that.
here when we voted that, Patrick, and you voted against it, but the majority went, and that's why Pradeep and I...
I don't think they were talking about
So-
money exactly. It wasn't
Yes.
a number that
Well,
they
anyway,
saw.
Well, wait a minute.
No, the vote was only to allow the connection.
Right.
And the whole, your fees discussion was already existing in the old agreement with the developer. So the fees discussion was already there in the, with the town. The vote was only to give the connection.
I'm going to
There
step
is-
down, if you're going to discuss that. I thought this was just a request by him, if you had specific additional information, for him to go to the planning board.
Okay,
They
I
wanted
do
to
have
make you
some.
alert. So
I started out that. My problem is that there is a small building on this property, right?
There's Appleby, there's
Oh,
a,
this is Appleby property, there's a
Yeah,
small
correct.
building.
yeah.
In that contract, it needs to say that this building cannot be enlarged. We're supplying water and sewer to that building too.
There is, the Applebee's
Because-
building is not being changed. Their
No,
building,
Is the contract say that can't be enlarged?
no,
Well,
no.
it needs to say that.
Well, where were you when you
I
were
was
here?
right here.
And nothing, you never brought out any of this up.
No, because I didn't have a chance to.
I would disagree, but I don't
You
know.
can disagree,
What-
but
Yeah.
I've been thinking about this. I called the superintendent about it too. And for a couple of months. Yes, this contract has got to be a finite plan. They can't have a plan then say 2 years from now, oh, we're gonna add on 20,000 feet onto that little building. Because we actually bought a little bit more land next to it.
No, but
That's what I'm worried about.
the connection, what we approved was only the
The contract
industry.
is not signed and sealed yet.
I think it
Yes, it has.
Well, why is it going to
think it had a gallon.
the planning board then?
That is for the Chase building and the buildings which are in the Walpole area. So, as per that, the town will be getting projected revenue of $283,000, $84,000 per year.
Yeah, it's not enough.
So, today's discussion is
It's not
about the,
enough.
yeah. Isn't the today's discussion is about the site plan, like you
Yeah,
want to
this
discuss the,
This is if you have any comments for the planning board.
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I'm saying,
Not about utilities.
yeah.
Well, my comments to the planning board is that there should be no additional construction of buildings on this project. That would be my comment.
So there are two water and sewer connection agreement from date August 19, 2019. And Walpole mitigation agreement from May 28, 2019. So all the 2019 approvals are referenced here.
I'm sorry, what?
All the agreements which was done in 2019
Yeah.
are refer here for the approval of this project.
It's still not enough money.
So, but in 2019,
Because
somebody
It's
approved.
not enough
yeah.
money. When we do this, we understand that these things could not be built without our water. And the towns where these are being built will get taxes. They get other things too from the state. There's a cannabis plant, a cannabis store being there. That town is going to get a special fee for the cannabis plant, store, whatever it's called. All this is money in another town's treasury. And we're just handing them over our water at a cheap rate.
But this plan also
And
has
this water, like I say, is needed in order for them to even build these buildings.
no, but this project also has a 4-story hotel with 122 rooms. And as per intermunicipal agreement, they'll be sharing the money with us,
I know,
with the Walpole.
it's
yeah.
still not enough.
That's very subjective.
That's it.
yeah, yeah.
Other places that we've dealt with, they've paid us a lot more money to get building, water for their buildings in other towns. I don't know why this one is so cheap.
So you want to put some restrictions on the water uses?
It should be, definitely should be a restriction on that they can't add to this building once the plan is in place. They have to come back to the
Yeah, I
Sewer and
know.
Water
I'm-
Commission for
Just
approval.
You want to make motion? We can.
between this and the
That's my
previous
motion.
item, I am,
Bill, he put a motion.
no, I'm not,
My motion is that they can't,
I'm not seconding it. I'm not
Okay,
going to
no, no,
vote for
no,
it.
okay.
We have discussed this thing, we
No, no,
voted.
this is a different, this is
No.
not about the
No, I'm not
connection.
seconding it.
Okay.
what?
You want to repeat your motion? So that
My motion was that the owners of this property cannot add to this property any more
what we have approved in
buildings
the
or
past. Yeah.
equipment or anything without the express permission of the Sewer and Water Commission.
I'll second that. Anything which was not
Okay.
already approved. Yeah.
Right.
So that should be the, okay. We'll take a vote.
Aye.
Aye.
No,
We'll take a, no.
no.
Okay, no, for the record.
For
You
the
know,
record,
that's
yeah.
fine, he goes on the record.
Yeah.
And that's good to have it on the record, that he doesn't
So-
seem to want
So
the,
to summarize, the motion
town to
was
get
to,
what it's
for
to do.
any future extension to the project need
Right.
a water and sewer board
so
approval.
that means they can now
Yeah.
add on to that. If the guy owns land next to it, he can move it into it.
No, you've already voted. It's
Yeah.
already been
This
We
voted.
are just
this
discussing,
is
yeah,
called
the
an
vote, yeah,
addendum.
vote is,
Let's move to the next thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
we're done, yeah.
yeah.
Can we get John back here? Thank you. So next on the agenda will be winter states. We're waiting for John to join. So Winter State is 2-lot subdivision. We're going to discuss that.
Do we have plans
Thank you,
on
pretty-
winter estates?
This is just 2 lots off of Winter Street. 215 and 195. It's on the Main Street side of Elbow Drive, next to Winter.
This is actually a street here?
That's the proposed. The 7 acres here, it's gonna be 2 lots.
The two, one, this one's a big, huge lot?
It's 7 acres, yeah. There's gonna be two lots. There's gonna be 2 water connections and 2 sewer connections off an 8-inch.
Okay, so this is a 5-acre lot here,
Yeah, it says right here.
and this is a
5.1
2-acre lot.
2, right.
Okay, what I'm interested in, is there anything here where we can get a right-of-way to get out of this place? They're gonna bring water down here, aren't they?
8-inch
Are
water
they,
line.
what kind of water?
8-inch water line,
They're bringing an 8-inch
Wet
water
water.
line?
yes.
Is there
Why
sewer
not-
there?
Why not just a 2-inch water line would service 2 houses?
That's the question for the board. There's an 8-inch water line that they're proposing 2 1-inch connections off of that.
Yeah,
and 2 ejector pumps for that.
are they gonna subdivide this?
I don't know what their plans are.
Could
But there's a 1-inch service connection to each one of these.
Yeah, okay. But they're bringing a whole water line down?
That's what's on the plans. 8-inch with a hydrant at the end.
How long is this?
I'm not sure how many feet. I don't think it's a great distance though.
I mean, is it 500 feet or?
These are typically 200-foot frontages, so it's probably 400,
400 feet?
500 feet. Sometimes if they're gonna develop, they do it like
This is
that.
is this a good, this is a real street, not a driveway?
Not yet.
No, they're gonna build it,
I
there's
know,
nothing there
no,
now.
I'm talking about,
If I could just here is the street, overly, this is the Great Cedar Swamp, this whole area. I'm not sure that where they would be able to build anything going up. This is this area right here. And here's the street that they're talking about.
Well, you know,
I'm
just
I'm
because
just
they're not
saying,
gonna.
because
Yeah.
you're talking about, you know, is there, you know,
What-
something they
What
can
I'm
do?
talking about
That's
is,
where we're talking,
is
right?
an easement. Because even though they might not build anything,
I'm
they may
fine.
need to get, they may need to get water in there to put out brush fires or something like that.
Yes,
So-
but I just, when we started talking about they might want to build or whatever, highly unlikely,
No,
given
but
that.
you didn't hear what I said? You
I
still
try not
might
to.
need an easement in order to go in there to fight fires.
Fine, and that's fine. I just heard about expanding, you know,
He was wondering about the 8-inch line instead of.
I understand that, I understand. It's just that I also heard, could do something in these big lots, and I'm just saying,
Yeah.
you know, it's
Well, they
swampland.
should show the wetland in here, you can see.
Yeah.
Is this the wetland here?
Well, no, it's another sheet, you could turn the pages.
That's too far.
Here you go.
Got it?
Do they show a hydrant at the end?
Yeah.
All right.
So this is wetland here?
Hey, what's this? This is town of Walpole. You know, we need to get out of this into the town of Walpole. There's gotta be an easement someplace here.
Well, that's what they're looking for, ideas if you want
Yeah.
anything that they.
I think we should either put the easement on that, the other one there, right down the middle, split it with a utility easement to the town, or bring it along one of these lines.
Wait a minute, they don't show the lots here, though.
No, they don't.
Yeah, well, then it's hard to figure out what the,
Well, where does it show the hydrant?
On the utilities.
So let's look at the utilities and see.
Is it page 8?
That's page 10, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
What is it?
8. You gotta start back at 2, huh?
Well, it's so dry, my fingers are dry as anything. 6, 7.
8.
Yeah, that
Does not look like the utilities.
No.
So,
It's near the end.
do they have a table of contents at the beginning?
Yes.
Water, well, it says water main construction details, but it's not really, it's telling us
No, those
about,
are all, they're all,
this
It's
is
in here.
some types of sewers.
existing grading and plan proof.
It's in here.
It's not on this page.
Okay, so here, now, if we need to, I think probably the easement should go right like this. That's a straight
This
line.
is lot 1, lot 2.
where's the houses gonna go? What,
Well, I guess somewhere here and somewhere there. Where
They're showing one service going this way and one coming like straight in.
Oh, here. Do we show
Where'd my glasses go?
water line?
No, that's okay.
I don't think it's on this one, Bill.
Water main.
Right, so here's your hydrant. Here's your water connections.
oh, wait a minute, you know what this is, I think this is a 2-lot subdivision where they waive the, they don't build the street out, Bill?
Yeah,
They waive it, so see, because he got the detention basin in the street, in the cul-de-sac.
yeah.
Doesn't make any sense. You got the detention basin right in the right in the middle of the,
It does disappear, yes, it is. At the emergency spillway.
We could call them in.
ay, ay, ay. Well, Patrick, so what we don't have is the other end of the town land. Maybe the other end of the town land's on a street, Patrick, so they don't need to get water from this guy's house.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking an easement, we may never use it, but we might use it, you know, in the future. Now, like I say, if you have a utility easement there, you can, you could bring the water in to control fires or anything up there. If you can't get into those places, it's very hard to do that.
You'd probably have to ask their engineer where a utility easement could go on this. This is a complicated plan. There's a lot of wetlands. You're
Yeah.
not gonna build this road, so you can't even really assess where.
Why
an
don't we
easement
call
would
them
be.
in and have them explain this to us?
But we probably should check. Is there a way to see, Steve, it looks like a big piece of town land in back of this. If
Yeah,
it goes
there's-
up to a street, then you don't need to have another access. If the town land has its own access to the road,
Yeah, but we shouldn't leave,
you're not leaving it if it's on a
Go to the
road that has
GIS.
access.
yeah, but, okay.
Like the
If we-
assessors.
Well,
If we ever need to bring a water line through
I
here,
think who owns the
connected
land.
through the town
So you
land.
go to
The town would have it on the other. on the
Yeah,
GIS.
but you still need to get, you wanna, if you don't have an outlet, you don't have a grid, your water system is,
Well, you want to loop it, but for two
Yeah.
houses,
So if we
it's,
just start
here's the thing too. When you have another line here, it's called redundancy. You get a feed this way, and you get a feed that way.
but you can't go through the
Protection of the
wetlands.
public.
Probably
Huh?
overlap.
You can't go through the wetlands.
Well, if you have an easement, it's there legally, that if you have a need to do it, it's there. But if you, it's not like it's not like you're gonna build it.
Okay,
It's you have the right someday to build it,
Oh, right
if you
here.
ever need it.
All right, so normally they would have like a number saying who owns, maybe,
See, that's all wet up there. That's what Bill was trying to say, that all this is all wet.
town of Walpole owns it.
Can you see that plot of land
Yeah, well, here's the overlay,
on the big map? Is there any?
and there's these,
This
the
is
two
better.
existing, so
Yeah, you can see it here.
The little strip right there.
this one right here, oh, this strip here?
Yeah, it's 441.
Well, yeah, 441, so it would have to be an easement through, yeah, somebody owns that. Patrick, here is the end of this, but this little parcel actually is owned by this guy. I'm not sure why.
Well, this isn't the street we're talking about.
It's off of that, isn't it?
No. Well, where is it?
Is it? Okay, right here. All right, so,
Right here.
oh,
This lot is dividing into two.
an easement.
How do I get through the elbow?
So this is the property line here. And is this where they want to have the two lots to come in right here? And then they divide
There's a big lot here and a narrow lot
and
here.
a narrow over here.
And they're not gonna build the road out, they're just gonna have
A driveway.
And then, this looks like a stream.
No, no, this is the elevation line.
Contour one.
Contour
Contour.
lines, yeah.
So what do you plan on,
I don't know where you would want to have an easement.
The easement will go between the line between lot number 1 and 2.
So it's like lot one is this bigger one and lot two is this one. Do you agree, John?
Or we could bring it along the other line there.
Along this line?
Yeah,
Well, I think if you're gonna have him come in, ask his engineer to show us where you could have a utility easement.
You can put it
And then
anywhere
he
you
can come
want.
and he could, yeah, but you might as well have an engineer put it in a place where it's practical and it'll be operative,
That's the best thing, right?
because we don't know.
We have no idea.
He studied the land, he knows what's, the worst thing is to have an easement through a river or a stream or something, a wetland, you could never use it.
Well, yeah, you can. You could put a water line through, or a gas line, or a sewer
Well,
line.
can you just sort of shrink it a little bit and we can see where this,
You know, the outer ring.
well, I'm just looking to see where does this go?
Cedar Swamp.
Well, no, that's not even a
What is
street,
all-
so
what are
let's just
all
keep
those-
going.
what
These
are-
are all wood lots.
What?
These are
You ever
all
heard
wood
of a wood
lots.
lot?
Oh, yeah, the cedar trees?
Yeah, so the closest one, I guess, would be Industrial Road. And then probably Eldor Drive is closer. Overley Road is sort of close, but
Can we invite them in to talk
Sure.
to us?
Okay. Pradeep, do you know what a wood lot is?
No.
Those long, show the long, Steve, show the long thin lots.
Isn't it owned by town?
Back before they had solar and
Oftentimes they
energy, everybody used wood
Oh,
for
okay.
everything. So everybody owned a wood lot for their house. They go out and cut wood for the season, to keep heat and everything. And for the poor too, the churches would own a bunch of them. And any indigent women or people who didn't have husbands, the community, the church would go and cut the wood for them and bring it back. But everybody had their wood lots, and then, of course, they got combined after,
and if you don't pay tax, eventually the town takes them, but they're still lots.
So these are all now town of Walpole land, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but they're all skinny and the
Skinny along
question,
like that for some
I
reason.
attended a thing, was it last week? Yeah, anyways, it was at the library, would have been on the Wednesday. And I asked, well, why are they that long? And it was, well, I thought the access was, if everybody had access along, but needed lots of acreage, we'll just have them go skinny rather than squares, in which case to get to, unless you were right on this path or whatever, you'd have to cross somebody's
It's
land.
right away.
Everybody could start at the same place
And
work
just
as
walk
they-
back, yeah.
Clear as they
But-
needed to back, yeah. Makes sense. Anyway, okay.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have them come in and talk to us?
Yes. Okay. Let's see here. So, I don't know if there's anything left to say about the MWRA. Anybody have any follow-up comments?
Correspondence.
Yeah.
If they do send me the map, and if it comes in an email, I'll give you folks, I'll forward it to you folks.
Yeah, I missed Bill's contributions here, the two memos on the data from the water pump, and then the breakdown, the revenues, two items here. Memo one, anybody have any?
So memo one is about the water
The water,
production.
yeah.
I think that's going on average now, in September, October, looks okay.
Well, it's more than the 3-year average,
Yeah.
but, I mean, it looks similar if you look at the year 2023. You got part where we were over, part that's under, and, of course, we got 2 more months to go.
And we're in a world-class drought, too.
Yeah, dry
Yes.
season, yeah.
Okay,
Correspondent 2 is about revenue. Water revenue 2.5 million and sewer revenue 2.1 million. So it's okay.
okay, very good, Bill, thank you. All right, now we're at old business. Want to talk about, I guess we're expecting, what are we expecting back from Leah? We gave her the fact that she has any calculations on Route 95 or the sewer
Yeah,
line?
what else, if I find that there's other rights of way.
Yeah, this town has the MWRA sewer line map, like, can we get that for us? Whether she's getting or not, but at least from our point of view,
Sure.
can we get that, at least length and, how much right of way we have for sewer line going out of the Walpole towards.
Here's why I'm curious, and I think I told the commissioners before. In my travels around, I noticed a state flag flying on an office building. And I stopped there and looked in, and it was the MWRA archives. They have an archives here in Walpole, which nobody ever told me about,
Where?
and I never heard of it. So
Is it
I-
office building or it's a?
it's, on Route 1A in the industrial park, if you go in and you take, I think it's the first left, halfway down on the right-hand side, you'll see a Commonwealth flag flying. And I went there and it was double security doors. And they said, who are you? I said, I'm advisory commission. And they said, oh. So they let me in, and it's a warehouse basically with documents. And I'm saying, how come nobody ever told us about this? And there's people working in there. And so I didn't know about that. So when we started talking about rights of ways and things,
They may have.
we don't
They
know
may
what
have
they have.
Yeah.
They could have a right of way any place. We have no idea.
Well, what you brought up, Patrick, if you go up Route 95 like you were headed to Boston, and you get off at Neponset Street in Norwood,
Yes,
but don't go to Norwood, get off at the Canton exit
yes.
and go up about 400 feet, there's a park in Canton on the left-hand side of the road, the big parking lot, there's
Yes, there is.
If you go in that area and walk up the trail, guess what? That trail goes right along the sewer easement, all the way up to Route 128.
That's
And you can
correct.
see the pipes, you can see the
Yep.
sewer line from East Walpole, you can see the continuation of that easement, all
That's
the way up,
this.
right to Top Golf, right what you're talking about.
That's a septic receiving facility that was a hole in the ground that they tried to get me in trouble. Our
For Canton.
old-time administrator.
For Canton, yeah. Well, our main intercept for sewer,
They had a hole in the ground built.
No, I
The trucks
know.
would pull in.
I know, and
just
they had
dump their
a
stuff.
chain link fence around it, that was it. Our sewer, the main outfall is, if you go on Washington Street towards Norwood, just before you cross, into Norwood, on the right-hand side, it's down, it follows basically the river. That's where and then it goes, I guess, that's Norwood, but it
That's
goes
the main
into.
interceptor.
That's the main for our sewer line. I don't know, does there one come down on Rustcraft Road, the
Rustic? John Rustic Road?
Rustic Road? There's a sewer,
No,
No.
not rustic.
There's the form is behind Certainty.
yeah, that one is the one that's opposite, if you go on Washington Street heading towards Norwood.
First one.
It's off, there's a big snowplow thing, if you look beyond that,
Yeah,
That's-
Farinacci's property, right?
yeah. And that's where our main sewer line goes, and I guess that's Norwood that it
I
goes in.
thought it went through Ashmont Plaza.
Yes, it does.
You and I walked this,
Yes,
You
I know.
remember
It does go behind Stop and Shop and that. Then it crosses underneath it goes underneath the Neponset River. The railroad train, before Plimpton goes under, if you back up a little bit, that's where it crosses. And then it crosses the Neponset River where there's I think it's Plimpton Pond, there's a dam that's behind some house. I know when they put the interceptor in, they were supposed to they were on one side, and the guy says, okay, we'll cross after lunch. And when the engineer came back, the machines were all on the other side. And it was like, how'd you get? I don't know, we managed to get across. And you go, because there used to be a siphon underneath the river.
They have put the map there. It shows.
You know who did it?
Can you just bring it? Yeah, starting point is
See. There you
Yeah.
go, right there,
yeah.
over to, now, what road is that there? Is that Route 1?
Well, you
No,
can't
he-
see the streets aren't here because Washington Street is basically right here. Here's the end of Bird Pond.
Yeah, we know where that is. Look,
Yeah.
you see the red line going to your right, Bill? That's what we're interested in.
Yeah,
That's going up to
95.
Canton. And that's what I'm saying, you can walk along that line in Canton, all the way up.
I think, that, well,
To
here's
128?
here's Norwood is right here. So it's, most of it's in Norwood, and then it gets into,
So that's MWRA is.
Stoughton is here, and Canton is, we got dash line, oh, yeah.
That's Sharon.
Well, this is, so, it's, on this part, it's all in Canton. Then it crosses it here into Norwood.
It's already
That's
crossed.
where it
yeah.
comes in, where it enters.
We're good, we know how we can get the easement from there into Walpole. The
It's
question
already
is
there.
going north
Yeah.
on Canton, where we can hook in over there.
For water.
Yeah,
Well, you'd
run
have
a
to
water
somewhere-
line
if
in
this is 95,
that red
it's-
easement, that easement line. You can get it right into Walpole,
It would
without
be-
paying Norwood $5 million and
Yeah.
$500,000 a year. in
And why didn't our
fees.
consultants tell us about this?
What is this one?
That is Route
This
1.
is Route 1?
Yes.
Oh,
So it's
And
already
the other
crossing
one's
Route 1.
95.
yeah.
It's already crossing Route 1 and 95.
Still
Can
Can you pull
go
that
the
down a little
up-
bit, Steve,
yeah.
and see where it goes?
Yeah, that Westwood
Just
intercept. Yeah.
drag it down.
Well,
And
and then Top
95.
Golf is.
Yeah, it's there on.
Yeah, because here's 95 going down, so isn't Top Golf somewhere like around here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's where you would connect the water line into a water easement, somewhere in there.
Yeah, I guess,
There's an abandoned Stoughton line that connects from the MWRA that somebody said we could hook into. If that would cross horizontally, that red line, somewhere near Top Golf. See, this is what the consultant should be doing.
I
don't
know, we should not be doing this.
do we,
Okay, I think we're all, let's see. We got the Jarvis Farm, I'm sorry.
Jarvis on
November 9th. Oh, the next meeting, November,
Yeah.
December 9th.
Anybody have anything on Jarvis Farm?
No, anything on the parking,
I got these for you, Patrick. So this is the road going down, talk about cars going down this way. If
yeah,
you're really tight,
what?
if you're really tight, this is the road going down. You're
Yeah.
talking about cars.
Yeah,
You have to make sure, the road gonna be trying to turn around here.
yeah.
Are you talking about the sign right here saying, passive recreational use?
Yeah,
Are you talking about a gate
Yeah.
right here?
yeah. And, but what about the parking lot? What's happened on the parking lot?
We've reached out to the surveyor to see where they're at with it.
Did surveys done?
No, not yet,
Okay, can we see that survey when it gets done?
yes.
Okay. All right. Have a nice Thanksgiving, folks.
Okay, we have meters to cash, you all set with that, or?
Yeah, I think we got this report where from June 28 to October 28 bills are going now. So we are in the new fiscal year rates. And the next bill will go on November 18th. So that's the
Okay.
status, yeah.
All right, a motion to adjourn,
Move to adjourn.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Yeah, enjoy your Thanksgiving, folks.
Yes.